Welcome back to Algebra 1 Honors, Chapter 3. Chapter 3, we're finally going to start getting into the meat of some stuff that you may not have seen before. We're going to talk about solving equations. And the chapter is broken into a lot of little segments. I'm going to do 2 of them today in one lesson. Talk about solving equations using addition and subtraction. And then I'm going to spin the board around and we're going to talk about using multiplication and division to solve equations. Okay? Now, one way to think about an equation is as a teeter-totter. An equation obviously has an equal sign, has a left side, has a right side. There are kind of 2 general questions you might ever be asked about an equation. One is you might be given something like an equation like this and asked whether or not the equation is true. So i.e. there's no variables over here in this real simple one. Nothing is missing. What you have to do is figure out what 4 plus 1 is and then substitute that. So you're simplifying and substituting. So this value is 5 when we get as simple as we can. Then we come over here and say, okay, 2 plus 3, that's 5. Simplify and substitute. And then you look to see if the values on either side, the left side and the right side, are equivalent or equal. And if they are, then you have a true equation. If they are not, if this were a 4, let's say, then we'd have a 7 over on this side. The 2 sides are not equal or equivalent. And we'd say that that particular equation is false. Okay? That's the simplest thing you're probably ever going to do with an equation. Now, what you're going to do much more frequently is to solve an equation so that it is true. So you're going to be looking for a number to substitute, or sometimes it's numbers, sometimes it's no number works, but you're going to usually be looking for at least one number that you can replace the variable with that will make the equation true. And if you think about it as a teeter-totter, it will make this side of the teeter-totter balance with this side. So the teeter-totter is level, it's flat. Okay? Now, this one's a pretty easy one. As long as you think of an equation as a teeter-totter and you think about things that you could do to a teeter-totter that will keep it balanced, then you're going to be legitimately solving the equation. You're going to be doing things which are correct. So if I look over here, I want to know how much the cat card there is worth. Is it 10 points? Is it 20 points? Is it 7 points? Right? Well, one of the things I can do to a teeter-totter is I can take the same amount off of both sides and the teeter-totter stays balanced. So if I have a cat card plus 5, if I take the 5 away from this side, then I have to also take the 5 beans or whatever away from this side to keep the teeter-totter balanced. So if I do that, take away 5 here, take away 5 here, and algebraically what I would write is up here I'd put a minus 5 and a minus 5. Okay? Then what I'm left with over here is just my cat card, which is what I want. So C equals, and let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I know what the variable C, or the value of my cat card, if I think of it that way, has to be. It has to be 10. Because if I put it 10, and then I should always go back and check. Go back to my original equation, take the number that I calculated, plug it in, and make sure that it makes my original equation true. So if I go back up here to the beginning, and in place of that C, I put my 10, then I want to check and make sure 10 plus 5, that's 15. That equals my original 15 over here. Okay? So that is solving an equation using subtraction. Okay? Subtraction to undo the addition here. So we're basically undoing operations that have been done to our variable. Our variable had 5 added to it. To undo addition, we subtract. Okay? Now, let's look at one that is a subtraction originally. All right, this time we have a bunny card, okay? And something has eaten a chunk out of our bunny card. Okay, so our bunny card was originally worth some amount of points in this card game that we're playing. But the dog came along, okay? And the dog ate a chunk, 5 points worth of the bunny card. Well, we want to know what the bunny card was worth before the dog ate the 5 points that disappeared here. Okay? So in order to do that, you can see from the picture, what we really need to do is we need to add that 5-point corner back in. So we're going to add, to undo our subtraction there, we're going to add 5. Now, if we add 5 to that side of the teeter-totter, we have to add 5 to this side to keep it balanced. So I'm going to add 5 over here. Now let me do that. I'm going to put 5 extra little pebbles here. There's 5. And I'm going to put the rest of the bunny card back, the 5 points that were over there. Now, after I do that, I'm left with a whole bunny card, one bunny card, equals, and I come over here and count, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, and if I look at it algebraically, if I subtracted 5 to undo that, I add 5, and I get just a B. Minus 5 plus 5, give me a 0. I'm left with just my B. And over here, 20, positive 20 plus another positive 5 gives me 25. Okay, so my bunny card was originally worth 25 points. Now, then I should always check. So I take my 25 down here, and I go back to my original equation. And where I had a B, remember, variables are like little buckets, little cups, they hold numbers. I put that 25 in there. 25 minus 5, that's 20, equals 20, and my answer works. Always check your answers. Okay? So, that's how we use addition to solve an equation. Okay? Now, let's look at, I'm going to spin the board around, and we're going to stop the video here for just a minute.